Good evening. My name is Odie Hawkins, and it's Monday evening. Once again, I'm pleased to be able to sit here with you and make an attempt to sell you some books. But before I start off with my little spiel, I'd like to invite my wife, Zola Salena-Hawkins, to come and join me in this venture.
Yes, yes. Hello. Okay, before we begin, why don't you get yourself some libation or snack
Oh, you like that?
and enjoy with us.
I think I told a story early on that, that was put into place by a friend of mine. We started talking about Odie Hawkins, Underground Master. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
38 books. Who knows? Yeah. So, I'm trying to defend myself. The people who know me.
Yes.
Zola knows
I
me.
know
She
you.
knows. Okay. You know what I mean. You need to be better known if you're going to call yourself the Underground Master. So I thought I was covering up by calling myself the Underground. No, come out from underground.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I do it? I'm playing with him, he's playing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see people selling fruit on the street corner, don't you? You turn the block right there, Hill and Lime. There's a guy who's been selling wonderful mangoes and papayas and so forth and so on. Yeah. But get a table and stack your books up out there and sell them.
Uh-huh.
So, well, we're in another age now. People are looking at the internet and stuff.
Yes.
So, well, you do that.
Brick and mortar bookstores.
It's okay. So here we are, and the stated purpose is to sell books. Okay.
Yes.
I'm taking them one by one, mostly in chronological order, but not always. And this particular book is called The Lil Urban Gourmet.
Little Urban Gourmet.
The Lil Urban Gourmet.
Yes.
If you turn it over to the back, the front and back covers were done by none other than Zola Salena-Hawkins herself. It's called the Lil Urban Gourmet Cookbook. And the idea came to my mind when we made a trip to Ghana, West Africa in 2013. If you go to page Urban Cookbook, you can show them what we're sitting at. We're sitting at our favorite cafe having a couple of beers. I'll go back to this. Yeah, there you go. It's one of my favorites, but we'll get to that in a minute. I think that one will be too long.
Sure. Okay. Yes, I think it is.
This is just so you'll know
Mm-hmm.
that we're not faking it.
This is.
The two of us.
There we are, in Ghana.
We're sitting there with a couple of club beers,
Mm-hmm.
very warm day, humid,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about future projects.
Mm.
What is it that people do all the time? They have to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have to drink water and they have to eat. However, we know that there are a lot of people who don't have a lot of money to buy food with.
Mm.
So what do we do about those people? Well, in California, they have 99-cent stores.
Well, I think throughout the country they have 99-cent stores or the dollar store, where people have learned there are.
Okay, if you're a frugal shopper with a sharp eye for the things they have,
Mm-hmm.
then you can come off really good.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to page 7.
Yeah.
For example, Zola took these wonderful pictures, and I'll tell you what my problem is with the book as we go to it.
Mm-hmm.
These are two really wonderful eggplants.
I think everybody knows about eggplants, whether or not they're egg or plant, but they're eggplants.
Okay, that's a fact. One of the things we had to look at was the fact that some people do not recognize certain foods as being foods that they would normally eat. I mean, I had an auntie, for example, who thought it was ridiculous that they would call this an eggplant. How can an egg be a plant? How can it be? Well, that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
But we started out talking about how it was that someone could go to a 99-cent store and buy some food that would be delicious and also healthy. I'm on page 10. For example, I came up with the idea of fish, noodle, and greens. In Asian cooking, you frequently find fish and noodles and greens, maybe bok choy or some other kind of greens. The purpose, I set myself a limit. I'll take $3.50 and go to this store and see if I can buy some nutritious, delicious, good food for 2 people.
You know, sometimes catfish nuggets.
Catfish nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's in the stores where they have a butcher, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, do they sell them separately?
I think sometimes you may even find them, you know.
Okay, we have to look at different neighborhoods seems to specialize in different things. Some neighborhoods will have fish and others won't. Some will have a lot of veggies, you know, apples and oranges and so forth.
Not fresh in the frozen section.
Mm.
Sometimes.
According to the information I have gotten, when I asked why is the food substantially cheaper than it would be in the regular market, Smart and Final, for example, and one of the people, I mean, he may not know any more than I know, but he explained, well, this is food that has been 3rd, 4th, 5th delivered. That is to say, they've delivered all of the fresher products to upscale supermarkets. And then when they get to the 99-cent store, they're just simply selling what they have left. On this particular page, I have sardines, noodles, and greens.
Yeah.
Sardines, noodles, and greens. The noodles, I do believe, are linguine, and I'm using those instead of.
Can you see that?
I would like to have you all remember that Zola Salena-Hawkins is the person who did the photography. We're on page 24 now of this book. I'm sorry,
24.
24, yeah.
No, yeah.
The dish is called tofu, lentils, and beef. It's a small piece of beef, and it has very nicely been nicely seasoned.
One more time.
Tofu is soybean cakes, as you know. The lentils are those really quick to eat, quick to cook little beans. They have a lot of fiber in it, good for you. Going right along, okay, here we go. This is coming down to home. Now we're on page 26. Chicken, cheese, green grits, bread, and cheese. Last time anybody talked about cheese grits was when Romney was running for president, and he was supposed to have gone someplace down south and they had cheesy grits.
Cheesy grits, yes, indeed.
Going right along in the book, if you go along with me now, we're on page 29. This is kale, cheese bread, and eggs. Kale, as we all know, is a really super vegetable. Does all kind of stuff for you and to you.
Yes, it does.
The eggs in this case have been boiled, soft-boiled eggs, but they might also be fried. And of course, the cheese bread is bread that has been smeared with a liberal amount of cheese. We're at page 50, there it is, page 31. Steamed rice, mushrooms, and beans. Steamed rice, mushrooms, and beans. The most expensive thing I found for this particular dish was the rice was basmati rice, and it was slightly more expensive than the rice you normally get.
Right, from the market, yeah.
But then that's a good thing to do. We're at page 37.
Mm-hmm.
Onions, eggs, onions, sausage, and tomatoes. Eggs, onions, sausage, and tomatoes. I made a little omelet, sliced onions and tomatoes on top, and I had a little 99-cent meal.
Mm-hmm.
We're on page 41. This is garbanzo beans, noodles, and greens. I like noodles and greens because the juice, yeah, you may as well call it a sauce, has a nice flavor to it after you've had greens inside. I'm going along here to chicken breast and naan. It's on page 45. I'm so glad that you did these photos. 45. We all know what chicken breasts are, and naan is a Indian bread called naan. It looks like a pancake, but it's not, and has a good flavor to it. We're on page 47. Sweet potatoes and fish. I think I'm getting a little bit West Indian here. Sweet potatoes and fish with a bit of cilantro on top of that. Okay, we're off. I'm going to get to page coming up. Meanwhile, here we go. It's on page 67. Now this seems a little bit more elaborate than some of the other things, but not really. I think the shrimps are the most expensive things here, but you have shrimps, baked potatoes, and greens, spinach to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
And they are well-known nutritious things to have in your system, not fattening or anything like that. Okay, if you turn to page 75. This is one of the things that I used to cook when I didn't have anything else to cook. You can do this with cornmeal and water, or better yet, you can do it with cornmeal and milk. And you just simply do it the way you do pancakes. I would use yogurt butter, not butter, but yogurt butter. And it's a snack. I'm going right along here to, this is one I like. We're on page 82. This is tuna, tomatoes, and limes. What I had was something like a ceviche, but I don't know how much I accomplished. Anyway, the tuna was nice and firm, and the tomatoes were good and red, and the limes, knocked it off. All right. 93. One of my very, very favorite pictures, and also one of my favorite desserts. Watermelon, melon, grape, and blueberries.
Don't have to eat a lot. Sometimes just a little bit.
Well,
that's a real little bit there.
It's taste. It's an amazing taste because each one of these things has its own flavors locked into it. We're at 109. I mentioned early on at the beginning of the reading that we were in Zola's, Ghana. We were in Ghana, West Africa, staying at a place called the Acacia Lodge, which we'll get to in a moment. But one of the things they had that was really wonderful is a lady named Madame Faustina, who would make things like 129. She would make things like ground nut stew with smoked fish. 129. Ground nut stew with smoked fish.
26, 27, 29. Oh, here we go.
And finally, we wound up on the next page. These are Chilean biscuits together on that page. and I'm suggesting dimensional eating and drinking.
Page now?
That's on page 120, 132.
Okay.
I don't know, Chilean biscuits have a little fork imprint on them.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we come to 134, and you'll see the tom yum soup pot. This is Thai.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's your burrito special, in case you want to start your day off right. And at the beginning, down at the bottom, is chicken and apples,
Mm-hmm.
which is now.
Oh,
What?
but I wanted to go back to,
Faustina.
yes, when she,
Hello, Faustina.
yes indeed, wonderful woman, gave great hugs, excellent cook, very friendly, very professional.
The Acacia Lodge in Hatsu in Accra, Ghana.
Yes, yes.
If you have to go, it's a beautiful little place.
Mm-hmm.
The staff is, as she said, very warm and friendly, and
Very
the little
appreciative.
exercise area that we use,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Now, here's one of the reasons why we've had a little bit of a difficulty with this book. It's not one of my favorite books.
It's one of mine.
Okay.
Not his. Okay, one of mine. But not
Okay,
his.
for those who've been sitting here watching us have a nice collaboration about the books we're trying to sell, it may strike some as being kind of awkward for me to say I like it and for her to say I don't like it, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I'm going to try to make my case as strong as I can, but I'm awfully afraid it might not be strong enough. So let me get started right away.
Okay.
I started thinking about going to, like I said, to go get food cheaply. And I did something like an experiment over, as you know, over a period of weeks, months,
Mm-hmm.
2-3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finished doing it, and you finished doing your super photography, I began to try to create little stories that would be woven throughout the dinners and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't like is the fact that, first of all, I'm not a nutritionist, and I begin to feel a little bit huffy. I don't want to, that's not the word. I begin to feel a little bit cocky about my ability to write a book suggesting that here, you eat this, and you said, I'm not telling anybody to eat anything. I'm just simply saying, based on what it is we have here, we seem to have accomplished the almost impossible task of creating food that is both good to you and good for you. But like I said, with the exception of the pictures, I'm not enthused about the book, and it's because of the reasons I just mentioned. Your turn.
Well, my turn is that I like the stories that are accompany the food, what you be eating in here, and the fact that it gives you an alternative. You don't have to go to McDonald's. You don't have to go to a fast food store. You know, Jack in the Box. You can
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. You can actually eat at home. The food that you eat can be pleasing to the eye as well as to your taste. And I remember one time Odie had fixed eggplant, and a gentleman had come over, and we invited him to eat. And he thought the eggplant was filet mignon. I mean, we did have steak sauce there, and he was cutting it, and he was so enthusiastic about the fact that he was enjoying it. I didn't have the heart to tell him it was not steak. It was
Right.
not filet mignon. And so he left thinking I really had some good steak.
Yeah. As you may have noticed in going through this book, one of the things I haven't focused on is red meat. Not that I'm anti-red meat or any kind of meat. If you get hungry, you'll eat anything. I'm coming from that part of the woods. But we do know that most often food that is not processed and industrialized tend to be the healthiest. It's not loaded down with pesticides and so forth and so on.
Mhm.
I think that is the case with things like eggplant or
Right.
some of the other dishes that.
And while, you know, a lot of people like pork, for some reason or other, pork doesn't agree with me. So there's no pork in the book. I don't think there's no red meat per se, unless maybe ground beef. But primarily our diet consists of fish and
Chicken,
chicken, shrimp, you know, and so, and lamb chops on occasion. But
they have some little lamb chops at Costco that are marvelous. The little small things have tiny things, but anyway.
well, there. Oh, and then there's the fish, onions, okra, the burrito that you like. You know, the pampano.
Okay, Pampano from the Filipino stores. Oh, this is the other thing too. You might have to shop around because the average American store really doesn't have a lot of different kind of items in it. If you have an Asian store near you,
Mm-hmm.
the Filipino stores are great for noodles and for fish. The Vietnamese have some wonderful vegetables all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In addition
And cut
to
up garlic.
yeah, you know.
Cut up garlic. Yes.
So you know, check out different kinds of places to see what it is they like.
And try even some different types of vegetables. You know, like bitter melon, which you can learn how to make it so it's not so bitter and it's good for you. You know, so that you don't have to eat the same old things. Give your body and your mind and your family the experience of eating something different.
Case in point.
Yes.
This is Frank's Onions and Greens.
Mm.
Frank's Onions and Greens. I'm a bit partial.
Mm.
What page is on page 35?
35.
One of the things I'm partial to is Frank's, kosher Frank's.
Mm-hmm.
There's a brand called, I think, Hebrew National.
Hebrew National. Yeah.
And my reasoning about it is that if the rabbis have approved of it, then it must be okay. So,
Real quick, here it is. Okay. Hebrew National. Everything. Very good. Okay.
what I came up with is sliced Franks with onions sliced and some greens. You can use kale. Bok choy is better because it fries better. Bok choy is better.
Yes, you get that from the Vietnamese market.
Oh, yeah.
Asian market.
You stir fry them and
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself with something.
And so you can cook bok choy, and you can also make a salad out of it. You know, wash it with salt and baking powder maybe, and clean it really good, and then rinse it clearly, and it's a good salad.
I think the important thing is to, I'm making a point later on in this book, the important thing, stick you right here. But before I get to the important thing, let me get to the other important thing.
Mm-hmm.
It occurred to me that in the epilogue, this gives you some idea of what it is that some of the writing is like in the book.
Please.
I'm not being totally Pollyannish or anything, but here, this is the epilogue. So, what has happened since I started this irreverent plea for peaceful eating? We went to war. The date, 9/11, means that the world has become a bomb, waiting to be blown by circumstances so far-fetched the average mind goes blank trying to think about it. I've been honestly trying to distinguish the Shiites from the Sunnites, the Christians from the Jews, the Buddhists from the Hindus, this so-called deity from that deity. But that doesn't matter. I'm in it whether I want to be or not. Leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Why did those people have to crash those buildings crash those planes into those buildings and wreck the whole world? The multi-social, psycho-spiritual explanation that have surfaced, will do nothing more than give us recipes for mental problems that will gag us. The virus is slowly spreading in the United States. No one feels at ease anymore, not even the white people. For religious reasons, they say, we will carry on a jihad against you. So sad. Just when the technological advances on this earth were beginning to give more and more people a better quality of life. Mm-hmm. The war against terrorism is called. And the terrorists give their reasons for being who they are, and more people are killed. Sadly, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is a microscopic look at how the world is shaping up. It'll be 10 or 12 more in Afghanistan, a few in the Philippines, some in Indonesia, Pakistan, and the rest of the stans. And eventually, finally, every nation in the world will have some sort of murderous tiff going on with his neighbor. That will be the way the world goes, with loud bangs and lots of whimpers. The whole thing might have been avoided if they had just sat down and shared a good meal together. So, as I said,
the saying goes, let us break bread together. Yeah. So, in this time of voting and cultural exchange and people getting together that you never thought would come together for common cause of moving forward in a new way.
In a new way, I like that.
Okay, that we'd like you to move forward in a new way with perhaps the Lil Urban Gourmet Cookbook.
I'm not crazy about the book, but I think it's worth reading. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And we come to some agreement. And it's for couples, don't be afraid to disagree. For friends, don't be afraid to disagree. Family,
don't have to be disagreeable.
Disagree, but you don't have to be disagreeable. Exactly. All right. That your friendship, your love is most appreciated. Oh. I like you. Thank you. Yeah. We do a little sign language every now and then, American Sign Language to each other, which is also enjoyable. So I hope you've enjoyed this.
Where can you get this?
Oh, you can get it on Amazon or through Author House, and just put in your search, the Lil L-I-L apostrophe Urban Gourmet Cookbook by Odie Hawkins, or a series of other books that you might find enjoyable, because he doesn't write in one genre. It's a multitude of ideas. Again, hope you've enjoyed this, The New Moment, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Another Monday, same time, maybe a little earlier.
Yes.
Maybe not so early.
I will post this more than likely tomorrow, if not tonight. But in the meantime, enjoy life. Enjoy each other.
Hey, I like that. Enjoy life.
And enjoy.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
For she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow.